Good morning again. So I'm thrilled to spend the next session going a little bit deeper into our roadmap. So I'll start that off, and then several of my colleagues will provide cascading levels of detail. Now, because we don't have a lot of time, and because there is a tremendous amount going on, we'll hit the highlights here, and then again get deeper as we go through the day. I also want to just start by being clear about our commitment to you, our customers and partners, as a product and engineering team at Hyland. The first point I'd make is that we are committed to relentless execution. Hopefully, so far this morning, you've seen evidence of that, and we are committed to continuing to push the boundaries and to deliver with pace these breakthroughs to you to impact your business. The other key tenet for us is innovation that drives meaningful value. And again, I hope that so far today you've seen quite a bit of that, and that will continue. From the most foundational elements of our enterprise content management tools, through this federation approach that brings all of this incremental value to you, all the way up to this enterprise agent mesh. Everything that we're doing is grounded in the idea of making a meaningful impact on your organization and your business. Last thing I'll say before I get into the roadmap is that the Content Innovation Cloud is the Hyland strategy. It's not a special project. It's not something we're working on the side that we're experimenting with. It is the thing that we're working on. And what I'll do now is share with you how we're progressing to realize that vision. We'll begin at that foundational level with the portfolio of OnBase, Perceptive Content, Nuxeo, and Alfresco. And there's a lot on this slide. So I'm just going to pause for a second, let you find your column, read a few of those items. Over the course of the roadmap, we will deliver many enhancements here. And these are, many of them are about unlocking the potential of the Content Innovation Cloud, knowledge discovery and automate in particular. You'll see those featured. And of course, this is bringing the power of AI and agentic approaches to these, to the tools that you're already using today. There we go. In addition, we will also continue to further the value of the investments that you've made by tightly integrating them with other enterprise offerings. You'll see tools like Microsoft Teams and Workday and Salesforce featured here as well. And of course, we'll continue providing commonly requested enhancements that you're making, as well as progress on the security front, right? We're constantly trying to help you keep ahead of the threat from cyber attacks. I'm going to ask for the other clicker. It's here. There we go. So we will continue delivering incremental releases of the 25.1 products that went GA earlier this year. In fact, we'll deliver Alfresco, Nuxeo, and Perceptive Content releases of 26.1 in the first half of next year. And for the OnBase customers in the room, by this time next year, OnBase 26.1 will be available as well. And again, we'll get into more of the details of those on the following sessions. But let's dig into the core elements of the Content Innovation Cloud. And we'll start with the Content Federation Service. We mentioned already supporting OnBase, already supporting SharePoint. Alfresco and Nuxeo are imminent within the next couple of weeks. Those Content Federation services will be available. And then more third-party repositories will be available within the next 12 months. So we're focusing on tools like FileNet and Documentum, which will be coming in the second half of the year. And as I hope you've seen, this is a critical service, right? I mean, this is what enables what John called modernization without migration, right? Extending the value of what you've already got in place. The new cloud update service, which is built to make it much, much easier to upgrade OnBase releases, that has been delivered. And today that is available for updates within a major release. By the time that 26.1 ships next year, there will be a new upgrade wizard, which will make it easier to move from OnBase 25 to 26 to 27 and so on and so forth. So we're really working hard to eliminate the friction that's in that process. And then finally, on this slide is the cloud content repository, which of course Tim talked about, John has talked about. I noticed that everybody was somewhat elusive on the date, so I will put my neck on the line and be very clear that the contribution to the Alfresco community for open source for the cloud content repository will be available by the middle of next year. So think May, June timeframe is when we expect all of that preparation work to be done and for that to be delivered. Now, as we shift into some of the other elements of the Content Innovation Cloud, in the first row, you'll see that we will be delivering this quarter, before the end of the year, essentially V1 of the Enterprise Context Engine. So this is where capabilities around the knowledge graph and the data catalog will be delivered. And then, as we go throughout the rest of the year, it will become increasingly more powerful. So we'll provide things like data quality metrics, we'll provide industry-specific schemas and ontologies that will be relevant for all of the key industries that Hyland serves. Struggling with advance here. I don't know if I need to, there we go. This slide also represents the key elements of the enterprise agent mesh. So the recently released agent builder. I'm just going to try both. We'll see how that goes. So Agent Builder has been delivered. You saw that today, but that will be bolstered with new capabilities around observability, supervision, et cetera. And of course, integrated with the Enterprise Context Engine, with the knowledge graph, and with knowledge enrichment. And then in parallel, we will expand the role of the Studio Modeler. Again, you saw that in Colleen's demo in particular. And that will support not just BPMN-style automation, but the enterprise agent mesh as well. And that will include things like expanded MCP support, dramatic user experience improvements to make it easier to define that mesh, reporting, analytics, and then later next year, orchestrated multi-agent observability is coming there as well. And then finally on this slide, we'll continue to advance the IDP product, all of the capabilities there, as well as expand our RPA offering to leverage agents and agentic characteristics as well. And then, as you heard in Jitesh's presentation, the Enterprise Context Engine is informed not only by content, not only by processes, but also by applications. Applications that are built with Hyland software, applications that are provided by third-party vendors. So there's a robust roadmap for even better support of those third-party applications. Tools like Salesforce and Guidewire Claim Center, we actually just GA'd both of those in the last few weeks. You'll also see integrations with other tools like SuccessFactors, SAP, Workday, and ServiceNow that are represented here. And then finally, we will leverage the Enterprise Context Engine. We will leverage the agentic mesh. We'll leverage everything that the Content Innovation Cloud provides in order to increasingly deliver to you high-value, industry-specific use cases, solutions that address your use cases. So of note for healthcare in particular, we've recently released intelligent medical records, which literally released Friday. And we're also working on intelligent correspondence for revenue cycle. That'll be released at the end of the month here. And then beyond healthcare and relevant for a variety of industries, you'll see other use case specific solutions that are more broadly related to many industries, such as AP invoicing and document transmittals. So, as I said, there's a tremendous amount of innovation and development going on here. In a moment, I'll invite some of my colleagues to go a bit deeper, but before I do that, one last point, and that is that in the spirit of driving a meaningful impact on your business, we are constantly interested in learning more about your business, about your challenges. So if you scan this QR code here, you will be invited to sign up with our user experience design team, our user experience research team. This will allow us to reach out to you and engage you on a variety of topics that we're working on. Get your feedback, understand your requirements clearly, perhaps participate in usability or beta testing. So we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. That's it from my part. And I would like to invite Arabella and Hein up to dig a little bit deeper into Alfresco. Good luck. Press hard. Press hard.
Press hard. Okay, hello. So we are going to, Hein and I are going to talk to what's new in Alfresco. So I'm going to start with kind of the context, which is obviously the Alfresco development themes. So today's organizations are managing more and more data than ever before. And from that data, they want value, obviously, and intelligence by using AI. And obviously, this means that you've got to start with strong data foundations. Looking at business, delivering business value, we're focused on driving efficiency, improving productivity. We want to kind of make sure that our customers see the real benefit and value. And of course, we are continuing to prioritize, the core Alfresco, and making sure that we developed our ever-evolving customer needs. Obviously, we have to talk about, and it's very exciting, empowering Alfresco with the Content Innovation Cloud so that we can unlock AI-driven automation, actionable insights, and the ability to extract real data and value from our Alfresco content. So I will be talking to Strong Data Foundation and delivering business value, and then I will hand over to Hein to talk about Alfresco and the Content Innovation Cloud. So, highlights so far this year of all the things that we've already released in 2025. So using my headings of Strong Data Foundation and Business Value, I'll start with the Strong Data Foundations. So we've got two exciting projects that have been done by the APS team, so Alfresco Process Services. First of all is the automation of the purging and archiving of the database and models. This is a really good housekeeping tool to ensure that you can always make sure that there's optimal performance while still kind of scaling the ever-growing not ever-growing database. And the other thing they've done is a lot of work on the queries, so task and process queries, and they've had some really great performance improvements on there. We've done lots of testing, and the response times have kind of reduced, I think, between 89% and 98%, so huge improvements there. The next thing, does that come up? No, there we go, press a bit harder. Is the out-of-process audit. So we've done phase one, so on the standard events. So this is based on the out-of-process event mechanism. So it reduces the load on the core. So that really does make sure that you get improved performance, scalability, and reliability. And by the end of this year, we will be releasing the part that's on custom events too. SAP ILM connector. So this was actually released yesterday, so that was good timing. This provides the information lifecycle management for data within SAP for Alfresco customers. So this really is kind of something that provides kind of the ability, so automated business. Oh, that was a bit, sorry, I got a bit confused because that was it's a bit different. So where was I? So ensures business, kind of mitigation of business risks, ensures SAP, sorry. It's, oh gosh, I just completely lost where I was. Automate data management processes, insurance compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. So in Europe, GDPR optimizes storage costs and mitigation of business risks. So we know that a lot of organizations are doing that migration from S4 or SAP legacy systems to S4 HANA. So I think a lot of organizations in Germany are kind of planning that or doing that. So this provides the ability to make that possible by kind of, you can decommission your legacy systems and put that information into Alfresco. And then obviously, you know, it's business continuity there as well, because you can still get access to your archived data within Alfresco, so that, you know, that was in those archived SAP businesses. So next, in terms of business value, we have done the out-of-the-box dashboards in ADW. So these really do provide immediate actionable insights for users and a quick kind of action into further data. We know that they are just kind of the standard value, and all users are going to want something a bit different. So obviously the next stage is to make configurable dashboards. So we're kind of talking to our customers to get input on exactly, you know, how we want to make this happen. We've also been working hard on the Alfresco container and deployment tools. One of those examples is the Alfresco Docker Files Bakery, which is community tool for containers, custom container images for the Alfresco content services, and its deployments, and it supports packaging, Alpine and Tomcat. And then lastly, on here, we have the deauthorization and reauthorization of ACS users with the new API. So this used to be a manual task, and now it's automated. So for large enterprises who have a big turnover, this obviously makes a real big, you know, time-saving and frustration-saving feature. So that's kind of what we've done this year. So I'm now going to hand over to Hein to talk about Alfresco and the Content Innovation Cloud.
Thank you. So we said this, we will meet our customers where they are. Hitesh and Mike already talked about the Content Federation service. I want to explain a bit deeper in how we are unlocking the capabilities of the Content Innovation Cloud for users of Alfresco, no matter where that Alfresco instance is installed. So you have your Alfresco Content Services instance. Maybe it's installed on-premise, maybe it's installed on a self-managed cloud. And on the other hand, we have the Content Innovation Cloud. How are we going to bridge that gap? That's the Content Federation service, and it consists of two parts. There's a CFS broker, which you install next to your ACS instance. And as part of the Content Innovation Cloud, there's the CFS Gateway. You register your ACS instance with the CIC, and then the Gateway will maintain a list of tasks for your repository. And the broker connects outward to the Gateway and gets the tasks that are needed for your repository. And it will use the local API to do those tasks. And this is how the CFS will be able to read content from your repository and write updates back. So processes in the CIC will be able to interact with your repository on premises through the gateway. But what are those processes? Well, those processes are orchestrated through Automate. And we are positioning Alfresco Process Services, which you can deploy on premises, as the trigger for Automate processes. So we are introducing an activity in Alfresco Process Services that will allow you to call an Automate process, and then Automate will take it from there and use the gateway and the capabilities of the CIC to do meaningful stuff. So, for example, imagine I have an image in my local ACS repository, and I want to use knowledge enrichment to get a image description. I want that image description to end up as a metadata item with the content item in my repository. APS would collect a few things that are needed, like the node ID, our credentials, etc., and then kick off a process in Automate. Automate would enter a task in the CFS gateway to retrieve the image. The broker will retrieve the image using the local API and send the image back to the gateway. Automate will then forward the image to the knowledge enrichment API and say, hey, I have an image here, please create a description for this. Knowledge enrichment is an asynchronous API, so you'd have a little loop in the Automate process to wait for it to complete. And then Automate will take that description that was generated and enter a task into the gateway to update the metadata of this content image in the Alfresco repository to include the description. And then every tool, every application, every process that accesses my local Alfresco repository will have access to that image description and do meaningful things with it. So without migrating content to the cloud, without opening holes in your firewall, we will meet your Alfresco repository wherever it is. That's it for us. And I think I'm handing it over to Max.
Oh. Okay. Thank you, Hein and Arabella. So let's turn to the Nuxeo platform, and I'll give you a brief update on what we've released and what we will be releasing over the coming quarters and years. So here are themes. Before I go any further, this is on top of all the great innovation you've seen today. Particularly excited for CFS Nuxeo connection in Q4. But for specifically the Nuxeo platform, our first theme is LTS 2025 and the big unlock that it has delivered, which is multi-search. We're working around the theme of multi-cloud and innovation in delivery. And we're also very happy to say that we will be releasing a CIC UI experience for Nuxeo next year. Thank you. So LTS 2025, I think any Nuxeo customer has already heard of this, but the LTS is our major milestone release. It is our upgrade release. It happens every 2 years. And LTS 2025 has been very much a milestone for the Nuxeo platform. So independent search, which I'll get back to in a second. We've upgraded the entire stack. So we're very much on the latest and greatest technology through the JDK. We've completely upgraded the application server, a range of database, Kafka, etc. options, and completely upgraded our security profile. We've also made some interesting changes to our upgrade policy for those Nuxeo clients who want to upgrade non-breaking dependencies in cycle. The result is the Nuxeo platform continues to lead the market in terms of performance, scalability, and security. I'll also note, and this is particularly true for a lot of our European clients, the upgrade process is compact, it's streamlined, it's easy. We've currently had many LTS 25 upgrades, and no clients have reported any kind of business disruption. Okay, so independent search, which is giving us our search innovation roadmap. Quickly, it takes search configuration out of the server and turns it into a marketplace package like any other. It means search becomes modular. It opens up other possibilities. For example, having several search services for one instance, say an audit search service, a main repo search service, or even one repo within a multi-repo setup. So as we move through 25, 26, 27, we're releasing further search packages. We're already very happy to have released OpenSearch 2 and Elastic 9. We're partnering with Mongo to release Mongo Atlas Search very shortly in Q4, and then we'll continue through other services, Azure, and the community will also contribute as we move to, there's plenty of options around cost, around AI, around performance. So that's search innovation. Another theme, multi-cloud. So as you've heard today, we're about meeting our clients where they are and giving them the options they need to deploy, how they want to deploy their Nuxeo instance. That means we've deepened our relationships with those providers, including through the marketplace. So we're currently AWS and GCP marketplace listed. And as you can imagine, with a full stack for each of those options, we're continuing to build out other partnerships through 25, 26, 27. To be cloud agnostic, we obviously want to have feature parity across these cloud providers. So the big three Americans, but also in the future, hopefully, some Europeans. So that means retention, it means storage tiers. So you can be very interoperable between different cloud providers. And lastly, within that theme, the Nuxeo Cloud Console. So if you're a Nuxeo Cloud client, I think you'll appreciate what an accelerator that is, what a great offer that is. We're very much investing and focusing on that. So this was alluded to in Mike's presentation. So we're going to include infrastructure resource management within the console and a range of other improvements around monitoring, alerts, and pipelines. And this is a bit of a preview, but as we build out the Nuxeo Cloud product, we're also going to start offering some GCP features in a very limited way through, and that's longer term, 26, 27. All of that being our multi-cloud theme. And lastly, for our update, so I mentioned this, the CIC UI experience for Nuxeo. So CIC is a beautiful UI, which you were able to see earlier today. We're working very closely to teams to ensure that Nuxeo clients can really benefit from this UI, which is ready for those emerging challenges that were alluded to before, for intelligent UX, for working with agents and unstructured data. So the first iteration will be a basic workspace available mid-next year. That basic workspace will be an Angular-based product. We'll be using those wonderful Hyland building blocks, and we'll have some great, obviously, native CIC integration. However, this does not mean we are retiring our current Nuxeo Web UI offer. The two offers are very much complementary. One is more of a basic workspace. The other is a very configurable, very extensible UI framework, and we'll continue to support Nuxeo UI long term. We've actually invested heavily in this product this year, and I'm happy to say that we'll be fully European accessibility compliant in a few weeks, and thank you to the teams and Mirari. And that's all from Nuxeo. I will hand it to Colleen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben. All right, where are my OnBase fans at? Be proud, be proud. You are the OGs, the original gangsters of the Hyland ecosystem. And I am excited to share with you what's new in OnBase. Now, before I talk about what's new on platform, I want to remind you of everything we saw this morning. For OnBase, we have a content federation service, a cloud update service. You can use IDP and seamlessly map to and from OnBase. You can build an agent in the CIC and insert that directly into an OnBase workflow. and you can ask questions, deep insight into your OnBase content. So all of that stuff that we showed this morning while I gave that demo with an Alfresco platform is available to all of you OnBase customers today as well. And I invite you, I ask you to visit the OnBase booth and see the CIC and OnBase working as one. Now, while the future is the CIC and it will evolve and elevate your OnBase foundation, we do have many on-platform updates as well that were new with OnBase Foundation 25.1, released in February of this year. And I'll try to go as quickly as possible and just give you a few of the highlights. Please know that we have extensive training on what's new out on the community website as well as our training. So what is new? 3 basic categories: features for our users, features for our admins, and enhanced integrations, a pillar of the OnBase platform. Starting with what's new for our users, WorkView, App Builder, and Web Client saw the most gain. When you talk about our case management application, so our WorkView platform, know that these data-driven screens are now completely responsive. Not only do they respond to the mobile device size, but they have been transformed in their look and feel. As of OnBase 25.1 or greater, your WorkView applications went from those data-driven screens to something modern, fresh, colorful, and exciting using display templates. You can completely customize the way your OnBase interface looks. App Builder, released in OnBase Foundation 23.1, allows you to build upon your web client foundation and create a personalized view. This morning in the demo, when we saw that Alfresco agentic mailroom, that dashboard with the little cues, that is available using OnBase App Builder. But you don't have to know how to write a single line of code to build one of those interfaces. In fact, if you are on OnBase 23.1 or greater, and partners, I'm talking to you as well, start playing with the App Builder. You go into OnBase Studio, you start designing the screens. The hard work, the heavy lift of designing your workflows, building your forms, creating your custom queries has already been done. We're simply pulling it together in a streamlined interface. So we released in 23, we added WorkView in 24, and 25 is our biggest release of OnBase App Builder to date. This, my friends, is the new, fresh face of OnBase. Personalized, streamlined applications that provide to the user just what they need to get their job done in a way that makes sense on the device that works for them. This is OnBase in 25.1. It is not your grandfather's OnBase anymore. All right, in the web client, believe it or not, we added a few new annotations, a line and a freehand. And believe me, I've been around OnBase since 2005, and I also begged the question, didn't we already have a line annotation? And as it turns out, that line had a little arrowhead on the end of it. And so we heard your feedback, and now you have a straight line that you can use for underlining, for striking through. This is available in all of our OnBase clients, including mobile. So we've got that line annotation as well as a freehand draw. All right, now for all the solution builders and the admins out there, finally, we have got our first phase of responsive Unity forms. So we all love Unity forms, especially a marketing major like me, because you don't have to know how to write a single line of code in order to develop a dynamic, usable electronic form. But we're always slightly challenged maybe to resolve or to respond to those tiny device sizes. Now we have the capability. So for forward forms, meaning ones you create in 25.1 or greater, you'll have an option to select responsive. Once you do, your toolkit will change just slightly, providing those toolbox features that will respond to the device size. So now you can create your form, test drive it in various resolutions, and now something like a lengthy text box word wraps beautifully. So responsive Unity forms in 25.1. I am very excited to be able to say that. All right, lastly, for the admin, well, almost second to last, I should say, is our OnBase admin portal. For any of you that are in the business of configuring or supporting OnBase solutions, the OnBase admin portal is our web-based configuration interface. We are slowly moving features from that classic desktop installed OnBase configuration interface to a responsive web app to do the same thing. Are all the features there yet? Well, not quite. But the majority of the most frequently accessed features are now available in this web-based admin console. So you can share the load of administering a system and provide maybe your part-time OnBase admin this handy URL to start to do some configuring and administering of the system. What's new in 25.1 is environmental value management. I hope that you all have a test and a QA as well as a prod OnBase environment. Well, there might be different variables that allow you to support those different environments as you're testing and moving your projects to production. Environmental value management allows you from a single interface to manage those variables across environments, making it easier than ever to support and deploy OnBase solutions. And last, but certainly not least, OnBase Studio got a little bit of a facelift, so we've got brighter, crisper colors, new icons. We moved from the light blue scheme to matching that of the Unity client. And then our third category are enhanced integrations. Please know that all of these purpose-built integrations were enhanced in 25.1. I'm not going to go into the details of each, but if you're like, oh, we're using Esri, we're using Workday, know that the way in which we integrate OnBase with that third-party application has been improved and is worth looking into as you upgrade your OnBase environment. Many reasons to move to the latest and greatest version of OnBase, and if you are a few builds back, remember that 25.1 means it was released in 2025, right? So if you are on Foundation 22, you're using software now that's 3 years old, and you're missing the whole gamut of features that have been released every year since then. So not only are we talking about new features for the end user, but compatibility upgrades, security fixes, and so much more. So I'll end with this, like and this applies, I think, to everyone here. Focus on the fundamentals. The fundamentals of what we are doing remains the same. You know, Jeff Bezos famously says, focus on what doesn't change. He said, I can't predict the future, but I know that my customers are going to want low prices, vast selection, and quick delivery. What are the core fundamentals within your business? For all of us here, what's true? We're trying to automate our processes. We want to reduce friction and overhead. We want to identify documents and take action with as little human intervention as possible. That has remained true since my very first day at Hyland in 2005. What is the foundation of those fundamentals? It's your existing content platform. And for many of you here, that's OnBase. That is the treasure trove of data and documents and decisions that we are building upon to create the context so that AI can make independent decisions that are well informed. Not only does it know what it knows, but it needs the context awareness to make the best possible decision. So use that foundation, improve that platform product, and then continue to elevate it with the CIC. There has never been a better time to be in this space. In fact, I lovingly joke that like content is cool again. And we have a huge opportunity both on platform and off to redefine what we're doing within our organizations. When you look at the foundation of OnBase, for years we would describe OnBase using these 6 product categories. And you'd build them with our modular components. We want to bring content in, do something with it, give it to users in a way that makes sense, integrate with other platforms, measure it so we can improve and retain it for as long as we need to and get rid of it when we don't. Well, these same categories more or less apply to what we're doing today. The fundamentals remain the same. The foundation is OnBase. The future is the Content Innovation Cloud. So while the names might change, the fundamentals of what we're doing remain the same. You're not going to hear terms like capture or search as much anymore because the days of a full text search and getting a hit list and driving into each document are slowly fading away. Instead, we're able to ask big, deep questions and get meaningful, insightful answers. The days of rules-based deterministic workflows are slowly fading, and we're going to augment them with agents, and then eventually the agent mesh will start to do more of the work for us. But the fundamentals of what we're doing remain the same. So focus on the fundamentals, build upon your foundation, and innovate around it, looking into the future. But if you walk away with one thing, it's this, and you can sub in Alfresco or Nuxeo here. The Content Innovation Cloud is built upon a federated AI architecture. It is a single integrated cloud platform that encompasses OnBase, that encompasses Alfresco, that encompasses Nuxeo. They are not two separate things, but they, in fact, are one. And if you think of it that way, it becomes really easy to start bringing these pieces together. And I hope this morning we showed you how to start doing that. So you might be wondering, where do I begin? If IDP piqued your interest, let us get you an environment and you can start putting your documents in. Maybe build a single agent and put it into one of your existing processes. There's lots of ways that you can start playing with this technology today. Everything I showed in my demo this morning is available for you to elevate your existing implementation. And I couldn't be more excited about it, and I hope you are too. And with that, let's eat.